All right, trig and area, we're gonna put them together. And we're just gonna jump right in because you already know the formula for this. This says, what is the area of a regular octagon? Sorry, I wanna get my new favorite pen color out. A regular octagon with 7.5 centimeter sides. So far, what we did with regular polygons was we did triangles, and we did hexagons, and we did squares, and all of those got us either a 30, 60, 90 or a 45, 45, 90 triangle, okay? Today, that's not an option anymore. So the process starts exactly the same way. You need to figure out what is your angle measure, but your angle measure is not going to be pretty, so you're going to have to use trig with it instead. That's the only difference today, okay? We know trig. We know trig. We've got this. So here you go. We start by drawing in our apothem and drawing in this radius. I don't like that. Try again. So that we have this triangle. Can you tell me the measure of that angle? It's not 30. What? It's not 45. You're not going to be able to use the 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. I mean, you could for some of these, not this one.
Wait, but it's like...
How do we find it? 360 divided by what?
8.
Divided by 8. It's an 8-sided figure. Okay, so 360 divided by 8 will get you the central angle, which in this case is 45. Okay, so this one is 45. But we need to cut that in half, okay? So you're going to take that 45 and cut it in half, and you get 22.5 for this angle, okay? Do you know any side of that triangle?
No, I know. Yes, I do.
Which one?
The apothem. No. The hypotenuse.
No. The bottom, right. What is this length going to be? Right. It's half of 7.5. So if the whole thing is 7.5, right, we're just going to cut that in half. So we get 3.75, okay, would be half of our side. So that's the side of our triangle. Now look at that triangle. You have an angle, a side across from it, and a side next to it, and we're looking for the length of that side next to it. How do we find it?
Oh, the
SOHCAHTOA, right? Which trig function are you going to use? So from the angle, you have, what would this be? That's the opposite. This one is adjacent, okay? So opposite over adjacent is tangent. So we're going to say the tangent. Now it's the tangent of what? Always the angle, okay? So the tangent of 22.5 equals the opposite side, which is 3.75, over the adjacent side, which is our apothem. These are the fun ones, when you got to move your A around. How do you solve for A? You multiply by A on both sides. So this is 1, goes away. So now you have A tan 22.5. I'm just going to rewrite it so you're seeing everything neatly here. You don't need to rewrite this for me, but just so you know what I'm looking at. How do you solve for A now? Divide. You're going to divide by tan 22.5 on both sides. Okay? So A is going to equal, and you absolutely need your calculator for this lesson, so make sure you have your calculator with you for the next several days. I mean, you should always have your calculator with you, right? But this stuff you cannot do without it. So 3.75 divided by 22 tan, 22.5, And here's where you have to be a little bit careful. We typically round to the nearest tenth on this stuff, but we don't want to round to the nearest tenth until our very final answer, because then it's more accurate that way. So give it 3 decimal places, nearest thousand, okay? So A would be 6 point, what? Did you plug it in? 6.722. Okay. So that's A. What else do we need? Yeah.
I did not get that when I plugged it in. I didn't even know.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I might be in radians. I'm in, no, I didn't mean to. I'm in radians. This is the trouble with teaching algebra 2 and geometry, because we go back to radians and you guys go back to degrees, and yeah, that's my fault. That's not right. Take it back. If you got that answer, you need to change the mode of your calculator. Try again. 9.053, does that sound better?
Yes.
Good. Sorry, not trying to throw you off. Okay, so that's A. It's a regular polygon. What else do you need to find the area of a regular polygon? Perimeter, right? We're doing the formula. Area equals 1/2 times A times P. So A is 9.053. We know the 1/2. We need to figure out what is P. So, right, perimeter is going to be 7.5 times what? There's 8 sides. So 7.5 times 8 is 60. Okay, so you plug this into your calculator and you get my area is 1/2 times 9.053 times 60. So to the nearest tenth, we would say 271.6. And then don't forget to label it square centimeters.
Did you get the 60 from?
Right here, perimeter. You're trying to find the perimeter. So 7.5 is the length of a side. There are 8 sides, so multiply those, you get 60. It's a little bit of a doozy, huh? Lots going on there. Here's the thing though. Every bit of that you've done before. You've just never done it all together as one problem. So hopefully it comes back to you and is very fresh in your mind and you'll be good to go. Any questions on that first one? Okay, second one here. Now here's the deal. You could do a 30, 60, 90 on this one. I'm not gonna let you. I'm gonna make you do it the trig way because there are problems that you can't do it the 30, 60, 90 and the 45, 45, 90 way, and I need you to know the process, okay? So yes, it's a hexagon. Yes, you could do a 30, 60, 90. Just don't, okay? So your formula, area equals 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. So we need an apothem and we need a perimeter. We don't have either one of those right now. So we're gonna draw in our apothem here. And I'm just gonna call this side X for now, because we do need to find that so that we can find the perimeter. And then we need to solve for A and solve for X. What's the first thing you need to do? Find the angle, right. So you're gonna go 360 divided by 6 is 60. My apothem cuts that 60-degree angle in half, right? This is the 60, apothem cuts it in half, so this is 30. So cut that in half, you get 30. Okay, so we have a triangle where we have a 30-degree angle, and we need to find A and we need to find X so that we can turn that into P, okay? How can you set this up using trig to find A? What 2 sides do you have? The adjacent and the hypotenuse. So that is which trig function? Ka. So ka, toa. So that's cosine, okay? So we're going to say the cosine of what? 30, the angle, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. How do you solve for A? You multiply by 6, right? We're gonna multiply both sides by 6. So this is gone. You're gonna plug this into your calculator. 6 cosine 30. And then give it 3 decimal places still. So 5.196 is our A. Okay, so that's part of what we're gonna use in our formula, right? A is gonna go here. We need P. To find P, that's a perimeter, we need to figure out what this little X portion is, and then multiply. How do you find X? You need to do another trig function.
Wait, but can't we do
Okay.
Pythagorean theorem?
So you could do Pythagorean theorem. You're probably not gonna get as accurate of an answer with Pythagorean theorem, so you'd have to round a little further, but technically you could do Pythagorean theorem here. The trouble is this A letter is rounded. So you're using a rounded number to then round again, which just makes your answer get further and further off of exact. So yes, you could. I would not, just because your answer is gonna end up being off by a fair amount. But it's a good observation. Okay, so if we're gonna use trig, from the 30, what 2 sides do you have? The hypotenuse and the opposite. So we're gonna use which trig function? For opposite and hypotenuse? Sine, right? Opposite, it's the so part of SOHCAHTOA. So we're gonna say sine 30 equals x over 6. How do you solve for x? You multiply by 6. So multiply by 6 here, multiply by 6 there. So x comes out to 6 sine 33. Okay, if x is 3, then what is p? What? Right, you're gonna take that 3 value, this one here, and multiply it. Now here's the thing, you could double it, make it 6, and then multiply by 6, or you can just take that 3 and multiply it by 12. It doesn't matter, they're gonna get you the same thing. Either way, you get a perimeter of 36, okay? We're looking for area, so you're gonna do what? Area equals what's the formula? 1/2 AP. So 1/2, what's A? 5.196, and what's P? 36. Okay, so you're plugging that into your calculator. 1/2 times 5.196 times 36, and to the nearest tenth, you get an area of 93.5 square feet. Okay, like I said before, you have seen every step of this before. You just haven't seen it with the trig, with the area of a regular polygon, all of that put together. But you do know these steps, so just take your time. Look for what you need. We need an A and we need a P. How do you find those A and P? Figure out the trig that goes with it, and you're golden. Questions on that? What?
I said I must be silver because I can't do this.
You can't do
Like,
it?
I'm not golden. I can't do this.
You can't.
No, it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, but you can do it. I'll show you another one after this, but we got to keep doing the
it's
rest of
fine.
it. Okay, there's one more type of formula that you have. It's a triangle that's got the SAS set up. Remember, SAS goes side, angle, side, okay? So if I have side, angle, and side, if that is what's given to me, and I have to find the area of the triangle, Alexis, put that away. With this setup, you have to come up with a formula that will work to find the area, because the formula we know is that area equals 1/2 times the base times the height, okay? Well, in this problem, my base is here, my height is here, but we don't know h. But we know all this other stuff that can help us find h. Okay, let's think trig right now. If I know this, and I know this, and I need to find this, think about the relationship. You have an angle with the side opposite and the hypotenuse. So what can you use? Sine, right? If I said the sine of A equals h over c, and I wanted to know what h was, how would I solve for h right now? Multiply by c on both sides, okay? That means h is equal to c sine A. Well, we have c and we have A, but we don't have h, right? So instead of doing 1/2 BH, we're going to do 1/2 times b times what we know h equals, c times the sine of A. So we get this new formula, okay? This is one of the formulas on your formula quiz, but it is also given to you on the test formula sheet, okay? So 1/2 BC sine A is the formula you're going to use whenever you see a triangle with an SAS setup. Now here's the thing. These questions are the easiest questions you will ever do because you will be given a side, an angle, and a side, and you just have to plug them in. But inevitably, when people get to this test, maybe make a note of this, okay? Write this down. When people get to this test, they see a triangle that looks like this, and they go, it's a triangle, 1/2 BH. And that's not going to help you much because you'd have to go through that whole process. So just put a little reminder somewhere on your notes that you will look at the day before the test to look for SAS triangles. Because if you have an SAS setup, you will have an SAS formula right in front of you, and you can just plug it into the formula. Okay? So the formula that you're going to see is 1/2 BC sine A. Okay? B and C are interchangeable. This can be B or it can be C. This can be B or C. What's A? The angle between, the 36. Okay, so you're going to do, for the area of this triangle, area equals 1/2 times 8 times 12 times the sine of 36. You're going to plug that into your calculator and you're done. Okay? So plug it in, 1/2 times 8 times 12 times sine 36, and you get your area to the nearest tenth is 28.2 square centimeters. Isn't that lovely? You have this formula, you plug it into the formula. How would you do the second one then? Area equals 1/2 times what? Times 16 times 10, so times the two sides, times sine 34. Okay, you literally are just taking B, C, and A and plugging them in. What do you get? Mm-hmm. 44.7 square inches. Okay, 1/2 BC sine A. It's beautiful. Any questions on that? All right. Yeah. For sure the first two are the hard two, right? You got to do trig. You got to figure out what parts are you solving for. Just keep in mind, if you talk through the formula, it's much easier. You know you need an A, you know you need a P. So take your time, solve for an A. You get your A, now move on to P. Solve for P, okay? Or vice versa. You don't always have to solve for A first. But find the parts, and then don't forget to put it all together in the formula to find the area. Okay?